Hello, Card Mentalism team. This is Glenn. I want to do a really quick overview of how we are using Trello. This is mainly for people who are going to be really active, like Mark Tristan, but also Nish and John, just so you guys are aware of how things are working with this little project management tool. Please do watch. This will not be a long video. There are plenty of great getting started videos from Trello that you can check out yourself. That will get you about 70 to 80% of what you need to know to use Trello. In this video, I just specifically want to go through how I've set this board up and how everything will kind of flow. Okay, so there's a list for any kind of assets, logins, and reference pieces of material. So as you can see here, I've got hosting login. All this stuff needs to be filled out. All these logins need to be filled out. Probably by Mark Tristan. I'll look in the Google Sheet to see if there's any that already exist in there, and get those filled out. But as additional pieces of reference material or other assets come in that don't assets that maybe don't go specifically with a card. For example, like a sales for the sales page copy, that's going to go in a Google Doc, which we're going to attach via Google Drive, right? So that's not the kind of assets that I'm talking about. I'm just talking about anything that doesn't quite fit neatly into a contextually relevant card. Okay, moving on. The on hold list is for any items that end up needing to be labeled for whatever reason with the on hold label, and we would just move those into this list to kind of keep them out of the way and keep them from cluttering up our space here. All right, the backlog. Okay, the backlog is where all new tasks are just kind of brain dumped into. So as soon as you have an idea for a task that could potentially be actionable, just drop it into the backlog, or we'll sort it out later whether it needs to progress on down the line into where we start scheduling them. So we've got the bucket for next week, this week, and on next week and this week. Okay, so any tasks that I definitely intend to do this week are going to go in this in here, and I also want to be kind of planning ahead for next week. That's going to make the backlog a lot more manageable and not become like a list of 100 cards that just you can kind of get lost in. So I've kind of broken them out into phases like this, or staging areas, that'll make it a little bit easier to kind of manage complexity. Okay, so when there's a task or a card that that I know that I'm going to be ready to work on within the next couple of days, next 48 hours or so, I'll push it into on deck. This means I intend to work on it. I intend to work on it today, and if not today, definitely tomorrow. And then active tasks are tasks that I'm actively working on, as the name suggests. It can also be any tasks that I am definitely going to do within the very near term. Like if I've time blocked out 4 hours in the morning to work on card mentalism stuff, I'm going to put those tasks into active tasks, because that'll kind of give me a really short list of what I've time blocked out for the day. If I do happen to get ahead of schedule, I'll just look at the on deck list and move things over to active tasks and keep them running on down the conveyor belt. So the final review, waiting on. Final review is for any kind of content so that needs to be reviewed by Niche or by John. I'm going to be doing some writing. I'll definitely want you guys to have eyes on it. I'll be sharing those as Google Docs, which you can go in, open, and either edit directly, or even better probably, just to put into suggestion mode, and make suggestions on those Google Docs. Waiting on is for any tasks that are kind of in limbo, that were active and kind of hit a wall, and perhaps might have a label like question or waiting. That's where those will go. And then once a task is completely finalized and approved, it goes into the done column, and each week on Monday morning, I'll take the task, this list, and put a date behind it and archive it and create a new done list. So that way this doesn't become a really super long, kind of unwieldy list of cards. So I might put a date behind it, 09 17. So that would have been the start of the new week, and then I would archive it. Okay, so that's how I've got Trello set up. You might notice one last thing, that I've got these numbers, okay, on a lot of the cards, and you can see a total right up here. Okay, I'm using this. This is an add-on called Scrum for Trello. It's a browser add-on, and you can just install that browser add-on. It works for Safari, Google Chrome, pretty sure for Firefox too, and I'm just using it for the estimated number of hours it'll take to complete that task. So the way that works is I'll put parentheses 3 at the end of the card, and that'll show up as 3 hours. And if it takes me less time to do it, then I can use consumed points. I can suggest consumed points there. Well, maybe it took me half the time, and this is just a way for me to kind of to drop things into, once I drop things into active tasks, I'll be able to have a pretty good idea of how many hours I'm actually going to be working on this stuff for the day. With that, it is the end of the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.